Dwyer is an avid hiker, skier from Colorado. She has experienced a catastrophic crash of her health due to severe autoimmune conditions, including a hormone and thyroid imbalance, toxic overload from mercury amalgam fillings, candida, Lyme's disease, chronic fatigue, and Epstein-Barr. And that was on top of chronic pain due to several car accidents. And through trial and error with various healthcare approaches and hundreds of supplements, Julianne learned how to heal naturally without the use of antibiotics or other medications. As a result of her triumphant return back to health, she left her corporate life to help people, especially athletes, overcome their own healthcare challenges. As a health coach at the National Integrated Health Associates, Julianne teaches clients to support their bodies with lifestyle changes, including nutrition, hydration with alkaline water, cellular rebuilding with ASEA, I knew I was going to forget that, supplementation and detoxification techniques. Julianne launched Healthy Living with Julianne.com, as well as Trekking with Julianne.com, to help anybody adventurous enough prepare for travel adventures that are demanding physically and at such high altitudes as Nepal and Colorado, or long hikes across the Appalachian Trail. So with great honor, I would like to welcome Julianne Dwyer to come and be our first presenter of the day.
I'm really excited to be here today at the Women's Health and Wellness Summit. It's April 2019, and we are making inroads in the wellness industry. This is a topic that is very timely, and I'm going to give you some information today. I hope you won't feel overwhelmed and discouraged. Please know that I'm going to give you tips and steps along the way to help you recover from the onslaught of radiation that we are experiencing. So I am going to sit down so that I don't block the PowerPoint. And we're going to start in Nepal. I just returned from Nepal in 2018 over Christmas. And my hope for you today is that, like my trek in Nepal, overcoming some obstacles, you can look at this subject and feel that you're not overwhelmed and that you can identify impediments to your health. I'm going to talk about some symptoms today that you may be experiencing, and that today is not only here in our session, but for the whole conference, you feel that you're recharging, refilling, you're rejuvenating, because that is what we're all about here in wellness. My background, similar to Nicole, is corporate. I was an international consultant in Europe and Russia, and at a late age decided to go back to school. Graduated with an international MBA in marketing from Thunderbird School of Global Management in Phoenix, Arizona. I actually got myself over to Moscow, got hired by KPMG Consulting, and spent 5 months there, and had hoped to go back, but my health completely crashed, and I thought, got to get healthy before I go over there. And so I decided to shift into corporate marketing in the telecommunications industry. And I worked for Cricket Communications, US West, which merged with Quest, and TW Telecom. So over that decade, I was living in Colorado, where I had always wanted to live, and because I'm an outdoorsy kind of gal. And I spent the decade investigating and healing from autoimmune issues and chronic pain, taking a natural approach. I did not take any medication. I didn't take any opioids. I didn't smoke any pot. I did not take any antibiotics, and that was a personal decision for me. Everybody has to make his or her own decision. And so my mission as a health coach and an adventure travel consultant is to help you regain your health and take a natural approach to achieve whatever dreams you may have. So here I am, 10,000 feet in Nepal, and I'm hoping that today I can inspire you, whatever your dream is, to feel more empowered and to step outside of your comfort zone based on what you hear today. I want to give you vital information so that you can reach your dreams, whether it's trekking in Nepal or growing your business. So the agenda today is to discuss toxicity from EMFs and other sources and the impact on your health. And then the question we're going to address is, can EMFs be linked to these diseases? We all know we're seeing many more instances of autism, cancer, diabetes, dementia, obesity, anxiety, and depression than our parents did, right? They didn't have Whole Foods Market down the street. They didn't have organic food, and yet we're seeing increasing amounts of these issues. So what is the issue? So do EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies, cause cellular damage, which harms health? And then what are the symptoms, and does it impact you physically, mentally, and emotionally? Is the telecommunications industry telling us the truth? I used to work in the telecom industry. What lifestyle steps did I take to recover from my health crisis? I was in the abyss, as Nicole described. And so today I'm going to talk to you about lifestyle steps. It's not just making a change for a day, a week, or a month, but trying to gradually change your lifestyle so that you can reduce the impact of the wireless devices, you can release toxic buildup, and you can rebuild your immune system. Because our goal is to have more energy, is to sleep more deeply, is to have better digestion, is to improve our immune system, is to minimize the pain that we may experience on a daily basis, whether it's from working out in Nicole's gym where we're working hard and doing our push-ups and so forth, or just, I've had a couple car accidents, things happen. And then our emotional well-being. We are more and more stressed, and so we need to take care of ourselves. So this is how I think our health is much more dependent on our habits, our nutrition, and our thoughts than on medicine. So here are the toxins, basically, that are bombarding us on a daily basis. The first being food. Even organic food. Farmers can have an organic section on the farm and a non-organic section on the farm. So the fumes from the non-organic section, the pesticides, can come over to the organic section. And Monsanto's Roundup is playing a huge role in what we eat, the glyphosates. So we have to be very careful. Water, unclean, it's acidic, and we're not drinking enough of it. Car pollution. We live in an area with 6 million people driving 6 million cars. So even when the windows are rolled down, we're still absorbing the fumes from the cars. And our skin is the largest organ in our body, so we're absorbing it from our skin and our sinuses and that kind of thing. Airplanes. We live in an area with 3 airports within a 60-mile radius. It's right down the road. Those chemical trails are not dissipating into the air. They are falling, and they're falling on my skin and yours, my sinuses, my eyes. And they contain mercury, lead, aluminum. I bet if you did a survey of people who are pilots or flight attendants for a living, you'd find a lot of health issues because they're constantly around those kind of fumes. Mercury amalgam fillings. This is what crashed my health in 1999 because the mercury not only penetrates your mouth, but it penetrates every cell and tissue of your body. And that is a huge issue that the doctors are overlooking. Vaccinations and flu shots, very controversial. You want to do your research. They contain mercury, lead, aluminum. How many people do you know that get a flu shot and get the flu the following month? So I'm not trying to engender a political debate, but I would encourage you to do your research because consumers can impact these situations. Mold in the home. I moved here from Colorado. I didn't use an umbrella for 9 years. It never rained. I moved here. I said to my mother, "Where's the sun?" She said, "It just came out 2 days ago. You missed it." So, so we have a big problem with mold here. Even if it's a tiny bit of mold in your basement, the spores are running up It could be to your third or fourth floor, okay? And the spores are landing on your skin and you're absorbing it. It's very, very hard. Combine that with Lyme disease, with EMFs, you got a big, big problem. And then, of course, EMFs, which is what we're going to talk about today. So I just want to talk about the cycle of how our bodies work. So we're made up of over 70 trillion cells. And when we're bombarded by all these toxins, it damages the cells in our bodies. And that creates an internal milieu or environment that is not healthy, that is acidic. So we're vulnerable. It renders us vulnerable. So people say, I went to the office and so had a flu, and so I got the flu. Well, it doesn't have to be like that. But if your body is acidic to toxic and weak, and your immune system's not strong, then you absorb it. So this leads to acidosis, and this leads to inflammation. Inflammation's at the core of all illness. So here's some statistics. Very hard to get apples and apples and so forth when comparing statistics. But I just kind of looked at autism, cancer, and diabetes. And, compared to decades ago, our numbers are astronomical. Very scary. So let's talk about electromagnetic frequencies. We have mostly ladies in the room. We have 2 brave men. And so many of you may be getting mammograms. Mammograms are radiating your bodies. A safer way to test, if you feel the need to, is a thermogram. That's just, and this is a thermographic test of someone who, before he used a cell phone, and then 15 minutes after. You can see the scale at the top is pink, orange, pink, red, and orange, okay? So the inflammation 15 minutes after he's using a cell phone against his ear is in his ear, in his neck, moving down, and then in his temple. So the first rule of EMFs is never, never, never hold it against your ear. Is this acceptable? Is this popular? No. But everybody's doing it, doesn't make it right. I think of the smoking campaign when I grew up. Hate to pull rank here on age, but I'd go to restaurants and everybody was smoking. Then they divided it into non-smoking and smoking. And then after decades, finally people started testifying on Capitol Hill about how smoking was causing them cancer. It took 5-6 decades to get to the point now we don't have smoking in restaurants. I believe that the telecommunications and cell phone industry is going to undergo a similar metamorphosis, but it's going to be really brutal. It's going to be brutal because why? We have entrepreneurs in the room. We use cell phones to make our businesses run. We work remotely. And so this is a very, very serious topic. And the telecommunications industry is very, very powerful. This is a scan of a child. Another major societal problem is that we have Wi-Fi in the schools. And our kids, I didn't grow up with a cell phone, I didn't grow up with a computer. After school, I played kickball. And then I went to the gym when I became a junior high and high school student. Whereas kids are finishing school and they're texting and this kind of thing, and they're sleeping with their cell phones, and they won't, it's like part of them. So up until 18 years old, the skull of a child is still developing. So so you can see the absorption rate is much higher for a 5-year-old than a 10-year-old than an adult. So we are really doing our kids a disservice by giving them cell phones. You can see the bigness of the problem, right? So kids are using iPads, Kindles, and they're developing symptoms of electromagnetic frequencies. Brain fog, ADD, fatigue, anxiety. How many people do I hear where they say, oh, my kid's depressed and is suicidal? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Malaise, low energy, and they are addicted. So this is a red blood analysis conducted, and there are 3 panels. The first panel is you can see the cells are clearly delineated. The second panel is 10 minutes after a cordless phone. Unfortunately, a cordless phone that we walk around with is almost as dangerous as a cell phone. So you can see the cells are overlapping, and they're somewhat they're clustering together. And then the third panel is 70 minutes after at the computer. So it's not quite as bad, but it's not helpful. So Dr. Oz hosted Tiffany on his television show in 2013 because she had been carrying her cell phone in her bra every day for 4 years in the same place while it was on. She developed cancer in the exact spot where her BlackBerry had been, she put it every day. So is this an aberration? Is Tiffany an aberration? So finally, studies are starting to show, which they've been doing over a period of time. This is a 10-year study. Male rats were exposed to similar radiation emitted from 2G and 3G cell phones, had greater chance of developing malignant brain cancer, along with tumors in the heart and organs. So the studies are starting to come out. Are they in mainstream? No. Just like the smoking industry. The cigarette companies argued that there was a warning, Surgeon General warning. You chose to smoke for 3 decades, 3 packs a day. It is your problem. So this is what my former colleagues in the telecommunications industry are arguing, that it's your decision. So cell phone radiation destroys cells in the body. I believe that using a cell phone against the ear, I'm going to show you other ways to use it, increases brain tumor by 40%. So this is one of my teachers, Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt, one of the leading alternative practitioners in the United States. He's in Seattle. He's from Germany, and he lectures all around the world. He's the one who taught Dr. Mercola. Okay, you're hearing Dr. Mercola. He's the teacher of the teachers. So I started going to his conferences in 2012, and he brings in an EMF consultant for 3 hours every single conference, and they talk about this issue. So he created Sophia Health Institute in Washington State to treat environmental disorders. So he specializes in the underlying causes of EMFs, Lyme disease, mold, heavy metal toxicity, mercury amalgams. Another teacher of mine, Anne Louise Gittleman, is a leading nutritionist. She's written 30 books, and this is one of them, which I recommend you buy, okay? She's very, very detailed. She got her master's at Columbia decades ago, and she's been a pioneer in many instances. And the name of the book is ZAP, Z-A-P-P-E-D, and the byline is Why Your Cell Phone Should Not Be Your Alarm Clock. Tell your kids that. And 1,268 ways to outsmart the hazards of electronic pollution. So she believes, along with Dr. Klinghardt, that EMFs do cause cellular damage, and you can repair, I don't know about all of it, but some of it with supplements, food, and EMF shielding devices, which I will discuss. So the Pediatric Society had an annual conference in 2016. This is landmark because they finally recognized that there might be a tie between electronic pollution from cell phones and your health. Women who are pregnant should never, ever, ever expose the fetus like she's doing, you don't want to use a laptop on your lap at all anyway. But the repercussions for these kids on down the road are very serious. So, I cringe when I'm in restaurants and I see a kid crying and a mom or a dad hand a phone and then the kid gets quiet. What are you teaching the kid? When I grew up, my parents would say, here are crayons, right? Draw a flower. So we are teaching them that technology is good. So on the one hand, they're going to go into the workforce with skills that I didn't grow up with. On the other hand, they're going to be very, very handicapped, emotionally, physically, and mentally on down the road. And they're texting. From a social perspective, I just went to a conference for a friend of mine. She had 15 teenagers help her. I went out to the bathroom, and I walked into the lobby, and there's 15 teenagers texting. They're not talking to each other. The social interaction is minimized, so their social skills are deteriorating. And that will make them more isolated as time goes on. And that goes for us too. Here were some of the EMF. Now, this can come from other issues as well, but you just want to kind of be aware that I have worked with an electromagnetic hypersensitive client, a mom of 9. She has her 13-year-old, he's kind of in the middle, do the cooking in the kitchen because she could not do any cooking, because the electric appliances, the stove, everything bothered her. And so it is real. And, we need to pay attention. Gentlemen are carrying phones in your back pocket, your front pocket, your breast pocket. I realize this is convenient, but you may want to start a movement to carry a man purse. Okay? I heard that on one of the financial shows, and I thought, it's true. So ladies, we do carry purses. It's separated from us, obviously. It's still an issue, but for gentlemen, it's a big problem because you can see them. They'll go to a meeting, they'll pull out their keys and their phone, and they'll put it there. And they'll carry it like this. And it's just really causing low sperm count, erectile dysfunction, and infertility. Big problem. I just saw the guy, whenever I meet a Navy guy, I'm like, so let me talk to you. So, I used to work in the industry, very familiar with Cellular Telecommunications Industry Association, CTIA, which is the NGO, the nonprofit that represents the mobile carriers, not only the providers, but the equipment providers. And so this is a 2012 position statement. The Federal Communications Commission, the Federal Drug Agency, the National Cancer Institute, and the World Health Organization have each evaluated the scientific research on wireless phones, and each has found that the weight of the scientific research has not shown that wireless phone use causes any adverse health effects. So what I did was I thought I'm going to start looking and see what they're saying now. So I looked on the FDA site, and it says the weight of scientific evidence has not linked cell phones with any health problems. So the public position is pretty much staying the same. They are responding to a public outcry about this issue. So you and I, we need to make noise, but it's going to take a while. So CTIA is just had a 5G summit. I went on the website, and you can see it says more spectrum is key to America's 5G future. So these are big, powerful. My last telecom job was at Exo Communications in Herndon. Our marketing budget was $1 million with an M. And someone said, oh yeah, Verizon's marketing budget is $1 billion with a B. So you see it's not only telecom service providers, but it's also equipment manufacturers. Nokia, Ghangzou. The Chinese are all over this. There's a lot of international companies involved. So 5G is good for the business, but bad for us. So 5G networks emits electromagnetic frequencies, and the challenge is that the more advanced you get with your phones, the more bells and whistles, the more features you get, the more power you need. And so the 5G is essentially going to be kind of like a supercomputer, 100 times faster than what we currently have. And the challenge is that it's kind of untested technology. And so to support this expansion, they need to put up more cell towers. So you'll see, if you start to do the research and on websites that people will say, yeah, I woke up one day and all of a sudden they were putting a cell phone tower in my yard. So the movement is on its way, and I have a client who's very active. She speaks in it, and I have friends who are very active, and every time I talk to them, they're, very, very worried about it. So I suggest you become aware and get busy, talking to your congressional representatives. Smart meters. The benefit to the utility company is they can cut back on employee staff. They don't have to come out. The downside to us as consumers is that they emit EMFs. So I called Virginia Dominion Power yesterday, and I said, yeah, I'm thinking of, buying a home, and can I opt out? She said, oh yeah. So you can opt out of having a smart meter at your home. You will pay extra fees, but at the end of your life, those fees, in my opinion, will be worth it. So just consider that. The home is a bastion of radiation. We have, as I said, cordless phones, which are almost as dangerous as cell phones. We have kitchen appliances. And this started in the 1950s after World War II. Women went to the work when the men were fighting, and they came back and said, I really like not having to be in the kitchen all the time. And then the appliances started to come. Microwaves, I think it should be removed from the home and never used again. Because the food that you put in the microwave has already been zapped, and by the time you microwave it, it's empty calories. I don't see the purpose. I understand the expediency, but really, you're radiating yourself and your kids. Baby monitors, obviously a necessity in many instances, so you need to figure something out. Dr. Klinghardt, in all his conferences says, and he has people fly in from Australia, from China, who can't figure out their health problems. One of the first questions he asks is, if it's children, where is the child's crib or bed located in the home? And he often finds that the crib or the bed is located on the other side of a refrigerator or on the other side of a router. So where your bed is located for you as an adult, for for your kids. So really the safest place is put in the middle of the room. If you live in a complex, because your next door neighbor is going to have the router and so forth going all the time. I'm going to talk about that. Okay, but you really can have EMF consultants come into your home and give you advice on how to position yourself. Yes?
Does a microwave emit anything if it's completely not used? Like if the builder just plopped them in?
Yeah, with the home.
I say, don't put a microwave
Good
in.
question. So I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I would think, I know we all move into to these prefab homes that have microwaves and so forth. When I go to a hotel, you know what I do? I take the microwave out and I put it outside my door.
So there is a chance that it's just...
I don't know. I haven't done the research. I will go home and do the research.
I've heard that even if it's plugged in, it's still emitting some radiation, not as much as if it's on.
So what you can do is unplug it.
Unplugging it.
Right. You can unplug it, I want to stay away from it. You heard my list, right, of health challenges. So I try to do everything I can. So I don't know the answer, but let's in this room try to go find the answer and let each other know.
So I think it's all amazing information. You just mentioned EMF consultants. Do they come in? The reality of living without much of this technology, kind of makes somebody unable to function in today's world. You can make choices. Are there, when they come in, do they then, obviously, if you're using Wi-Fi, if you're using devices, to say, oh, don't have any routers in your home, maybe does not help you function.
No.
However,
the
do
role,
they help you with where in your home
right.
then protects you, like putting it in a closet, in a like we've got a server closet,
right.
Away from something. Is that what they
yes.
can come in and help?
Yeah, they live in the world.
Monitors have changed.
Yeah, the EMF consultants live in the world, and so they're not going to come in and say never use the computer again or the cell phone. Their role is to come in, like Dr. Klinghardt mentioned, and talk about the position of your bed. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more. I guess I'll go to the next slide. So this is what I learned from Dr. Klinghardt's EMF consultant that he had come in, and then, I went home, is to do things like, we're all on all day, right? We have cell phones, we have things to do, we have businesses, we have kids, and so forth and so on. And so the only place we control is the bedroom, right? And so you want to start to remove everything out of the bedroom. If you have the router in the bedroom, put it in the living room. And certainly no cell phones, TVs, not such a big deal, but cell phones, laptops, iPads, all those kind of things, if you can keep them outside of the bedroom, what does that do? It creates a sanctuary, and we need to recharge when we sleep more now than ever, because we live near 3 airports. We run businesses. We have kids. We're stressed. We go to the gym when we can. And so the sleeping is where we recover, we recharge. And if our bedroom has things on, our adrenal glands are continuing to emit cortisol, right? So we're on, and we want to be off. You know, when I grow up, and maybe some of you, we didn't have a cell phone. So someone would leave a message on the phone and say emergency, and then we get it the next morning. So that's one of the ways that EMF consultants will talk with you and say, you know, try to turn off the Wi-Fi at night. The Wi-Fi is bathing us all. You go to Starbucks, there's like, everybody has a laptop and a cell phone. It's all on. Nobody's talking to each other. Right? And so you go to your schools, you go to the library, you go to your church, you go to your company, you go to the hotel. Wi-Fi is on everywhere, and it is affecting us. So we can't control it until we get home, and then we can turn it off. So the last person to go to bed at night turns off the Wi-Fi. Electric blankets, I'm not a fan. Try to use a hot, what's it called? You put hot water in it. Hot water bottle, that's it. I use it all the time.
But don't heat it in your microwave.
Correct. Yeah, boil the water and put it in. Yeah, so here's some safety tips that I just mentioned. We're going to talk about, so in terms of, I have 2 phones. I'm with you. I run more than one business while I'm building my health phone, I can't find it. So you want to use the speaker feature, certainly when you're at home, but you want to use healthy headsets, not the ones you buy at Verizon or AT&T. I bought this, and I'm going to give you the slide. And so this is a very healthy, you can get a short one or you can get an extension, right? And so when I'm using this, it's not transmitting the radiation because it comes from this company I'm going to show you. Airplane mode when possible. And you can hardwire your Wi-Fi over Ethernet at home. So it's not running over the internet, it's running over Ethernet. So you have a consultant come in and do that. And then, you know, kids. So this is Center for Safer Wireless is a wonderful nonprofit in Arlington run by my friend Desiree. And you can see some of the EMF shielding devices that she offers through another company. And so you can shield your phone during the day. You can use an earphone. I did bring one of my gloves here. So you can buy various things. So every time we touch a phone, we're radiating our fingers, right? Every time you touch. And so it's going through the fingers, up the arm, and so forth. So I bought the gloves so that when I touch the phone, I'm not radiating my hands. Is this practical all the time? No. But if you're working at home and so forth, that's fine. And then another thing that I do is I use bamboo, a bamboo pencil, so that I'm not touching it. So you can buy these at Verizon or on Amazon. So it's just a $19 thing. And so I'm doing this on the screen instead of touching. Sometimes I do touch because for whatever reason, I live in the world too. So you want to start getting into the habit of using some of these. Now, many people when I do presentations ask me about my journey. So we've talked about shielding devices and positioning your bed and so forth in the home. So now I just want to move more into the nutrition side of things. And, you know, the list was pretty long that I experienced. My health did crash because of mercury toxicity from fillings in that it was actually 2 root canal teeth that absorbed the mercury from fillings over 15 years, and then my health crashed. I finished my MBA and I thought, I'm just tired from studying and traveling. And then I saw a holistic doctor, actually a nutritionist chiropractor, who had a machine that tested me and said, this is 1999, you're full of mercury and it's hurting you. I said, what are you talking about? Anyway, so lots and lots of problems and stuff. So what I did was I started to shift to a greener diet, and that helps the pH balance in your body. You can measure your blood, your saliva, and you can measure it in terms of acidity and alkalinity. I don't waste time doing that. I knew I was too acidic. You're acidic because you have issues. So I cut back on my meat, and I cut back on my carbohydrates and starches because they create inflammation. I'm not saying you don't need them here and there, but for me, that was what I did. I also started drinking alkaline water, which I brought for you here because it shifts the pH balance and was the biggest contributor to beating candida. Candida is too much sugar, and it means you're too toxic, and so the alkaline water helped me shift. And many athletes are using it. The entire Major League Baseball league has alkaline water units in their locker rooms. Supplements, took a lot of them, big believer in them because we're so bombarded by so much stuff. A lot of minerals, probiotics, because gut health is absolutely crucial. Super greens, lots of that stuff, lots of vitamins, which I'll talk about, vitamins A to Z. ASEA redox signaling, which is a molecular supplement that helps rebuild cells. So, and then there's a skin gel that helps with skin and inflammation. And then a lot of EMF shielding products for cell phones. So since I mentioned the alkaline water, I want to talk a little bit about it. Here is a pH scale. And you can test waters with pH drops, and the water will turn the color of the pH. Your blood, when you test your blood, it's going to be using a different technique. But dehydration is very, very underestimated and undervalued in certainly the conventional medical community. If you can just think for a moment about the last time you visited your doctor, was there a glass of water on the table? Was he or she drinking water while talking to you? Chances are not, right? Because they're so busy and frazzled. So they're telling us to do it, but they're not doing it because they're seeing 10, 20 people a day, and they drink water maybe at the beginning and at the end, but you really want to drink half your body weight in ounces a day. That means you wake up before your coffee, you have a big glass, 1 or 2 big glasses before breakfast. And because you wake up and you're dehydrated, you've been sleeping and you've been perspiring all night long. The reason alkaline water is effective is because it's a molecular structure that enables absorption much faster than bottled or filtered or reverse osmosis. It's also oxygenated, so it flushes out toxins. Like I was full of stuff, and so I had to cleanse. Naturally found at altitude, so when I was hiking at 10,000 feet in Nepal over Christmas, the water in the rivers, alkaline. It's a naturally occurring substance. The Japanese have been doing it for years. The ideal pH is 8.5. You want to avoid plastic bottles at Whole Foods that say alkaline water. The water's alkaline, but it's chemically treated. I've tested it because when you maintain pH longer than 36 hours, it means your chemical, it's artificial, right? Because it can only last three days. The unit that I recommend, Velara Living Water Ionizer Unit, is works very well. I've had it 5 years, and disclaimer, I am a distributor. This is the list that she recommends in her book, okay? Particularly for EMF symptoms because it's low glycemic and high in antioxidants. Blueberries. Who doesn't like blueberries? She talks about the importance of minerals, and the reason we're so deficient is because our parents and grandparents, the soil when they were growing up, much healthier. Now we've got Monsanto, spraying with Roundup all over the place, so our soil, even if it's kind of maybe organic, is not as rich, and so our food's not as rich with minerals. So instead of taking all of these, you can just take a mineral supplement, with all of them. And I just mentioned one here. You can get whichever you like. Dr. Klinghardt recommends, it's a mineral matrix, the company's BioPure. And see, at his conferences, he's got top of the line wellness products that are a step up from Costco. Ann Louise Gittleman also recommends a number of these. She is a big fan of ASEA cell signaling supplement. She started drinking it several years ago. Even after decades of taking vitamins and walking the talk, she still had some unresolved issues. One was a concussion, and I heard her at the ASEA convention, which I attended last year. And the reason that she promotes it is because it repairs damaged cells. So the word mitochondria is a big word for me. I don't know about you, but mitochondria in the cells is damaged by EMFs. ASEA helps repair that. And it promotes antioxidant efficiency. These are the 3 antioxidants your body makes: glutathione, SOD, and catalase. So if you have big issues like I did, this helps seize those free radicals so that big issues can't happen. Or if they are happening, they can be reversed. Melatonin, glutathione, vitamin D, whey protein powder, and milk thistle. I'm going to talk a little bit about ASEA because you're not going to find the information easily on the web, and it is a distributor model. So as I mentioned, it helps at the cellular level, both from the outside in, so skin, you can see her skin before and after, and inside. This is a red blood analysis of somebody before drinking ASEA. You can see that it's kind of the cells are overlapping and foggy, and this is 15 minutes after drinking ASEA. So the cells are clear, they're not overlapping. So the blood speaks volumes, and this is why Ann Louise Gittleman recommends this. In your packets, I gave you some thermographic images before and after using ASEA'S Renu 28 gel. So you can see the knees in the first column are orange, and then 10 minutes after applying, the knees are less orange. The middle one is a back, and how many of us don't have a back issue, right, from sitting all the time? And then the third is breasts. So even if you don't have a breast issue, it's a terrific prevention tool for reducing inflammation. So in summary, here are some steps to reduce EMF exposure that we've talked about. Use your phone wisely. Avoid putting it against your head. Use a headset wherever possible. Rethink your Wi-Fi. Turn it off every night, and where you can, hardwire over the Ethernet. Contact Center for Safer Wireless about having an EMF consultant come to your house. Desiree does it. She's very nice. I don't know if she hardwires, but she can refer someone. Learn about the impact of 5G and avoid proximity to cell towers. Evaluate your smart meter if you can. Opt out. Take it out. Make your bedroom an EM-free sanctuary. No wireless phones. Reevaluate the electronics in your home. One of the things I didn't mention was the Apple Watches. If you're wearing an Apple Watch, you're zapping yourself 24 hours a day. Okay? So, regular watch that we used to use.
Fitbits too, right?
Yeah.
Pardon?
Fitbits.
Exactly, Fitbits. Yeah, I mean, I see people in my yoga class who bring their cell phone into the yoga studio. I'm like, who are we going to talk to for the next 90 minutes? So I have 2 websites that you can look at. Healthy Living with Julianne. Yes?
On the water, I think you said it helps maintain 8.5 was the right pH.
Yeah.
And does your body then work to bring it back to 7? No.
Well, your body, it's bringing your body back to 8.5. In other words, as you drink it, your body's undergoing a transformation so that it's becoming more alkaline. And I just can't tell you how many improvements I saw when I started drinking it. And I'm a water drinker. I've been an athlete my whole life. So here are some of the aspects of my health coaching program. I look at the underlying causes, and we do various things depending on your need. I also have a company in case you're a dreamer and an adventurer and you want to perhaps think about going to Nepal or Kilimanjaro or Alaska or Colorado or somewhere like that. And so my role is to help you overcome some of the health challenges that may keep you from doing that, and to just advise you. I've been a backpacker since I was 15 years old. So I can help you figure out what to do, where to go, and so forth. So I hope that you heard some information that helped you recharge, refill, and rejuvenate. I am giving upcoming health presentations, which is in your packet. There's a list you're welcome to come see. One is on personal care products. One is on a CS cell signaling, underlying causes of pain, and then I'm going to be speaking on an online anti-aging summit about how to strengthen your immune system in a toxic world. Thank you for coming.